Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 735 of Screw the Commute podcast. Today I'm going to talk about logical training. Now, many people have asked me, Tom, do you have a PhD in instructional design? No, I don't. I just come from a background of people that have common sense. I'm going to show you in this episode a super easy way to make training products that make you money and don't get returns. All right. I hope you didn't miss episode 734. And this is a perfect example of this. Christina Hills was on. And I want you to write this down or grab this or go there today at screwthecommute.com/method. And she's going to be a perfect example of what I'm talking about. She's going to show you her method that she thinks through to make websites. And if you happen to, of course, I'm an affiliate for her if you happen to get in her workshops or something, but everything she puts out is great. The free stuff is great. So check it out at screwthecommute.com/method. And then if you wanted to see her masterclass, if you happen to miss that, I've been promoting the heck out of that, go to screwthecommute.com/super masterclass. screwthecommute.com/super masterclass, where she really goes in depth in a lot of stuff. All right, follow me on TikTok at Digital Multimillionaire and pick up a copy of our automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free. And you will thank me because you will save hundreds and hundreds of hours if you just took a little time to implement what's in this ebook. So screwthecommute.com/automate free. All right, let's get to the main event. Designing training that gets the job done, makes you money, and has very few returns or complaints. That's what I'm talking about today. And I got to tell you, there's nothing earth-shattering about creating how-to products like some certification programs would have you believe, all right? In fact, many of them teach you to make the training so darn complicated to prove how brilliant you are that people give up in trying to use it. Well, you don't want that. I mean, this is the idea of the term consumption. See, if people don't actually use or consume your training, they are unlikely to ever buy anything else from you, and they're more likely to return it to get their money back. And they're also more likely to give you a bad review, and reviews are more critical to your success than ever. And you want to avoid legitimate bad reviews at all cost. All right, now let me take a sidebar here. I emphasize the term legitimate when I talk about reviews. In other words, there really is something wrong with your product. A few illegitimate reviews don't seem to hurt you too much, and in many cases they help you. But I'm going to talk about legitimate reviews. I don't want you to put out crap products and then get legitimate bad reviews, and that's going to kill you. All right, now let me talk about illegitimate stuff. I read a study, I can't remember where, but it was a legitimate place, legitimate. It was a credible place where lots of people were surveyed, and reviews from 4.7 to 4.9 stars were more believable than a solid 5.0 stars. See, 5.0 sends the message to people that the reviews are fake. Nobody could be perfect. And I'm not suggesting that you solicit bad reviews, all right? But I have had the problem of people not wanting to upset me with something less than a 5-star review, when in fact, I wish they would just be honest and give it the review the product deserves, because this keeps me on my toes to keep putting out great products. And, if there was something a little bit off, that puts me in the more credible range in the review, the overall review rating. Now let's talk about illegitimate reviews. Now, whenever I'm looking for a product, I immediately go to the 1-star reviews. And I look at the percentage of 1 stars. And when I do purchase that product, I usually look for something like 2% or less of these one-star reviews. I can't always get stuff that low, but that's what I shoot for. Then I start reading the one-star reviews. Now, if it's something real about the product that's bad, I might end looking at that product right there. For instance, I was looking at a wall hanging rack to hang my electric drills on in my garage. And one person said the rack was just stupid because the mounting holes were not on 16 inches centers or 16 inches apart, which is the standard width of studs to screw into, so that the heavy rack didn't fall off the wall or require a bunch of extra work to hang the thing. Well, that alone ended that product for me, and it was a legitimate complaint. Whoever made that was stupid for not paying attention to that. Now, an illegitimate one-star complaint would be, let's say, a screw missing from an otherwise great product. Maybe that would be worth a one-star reduction out of 5, but certainly not a one-star review because you had to get your butt up and go to Home Depot or something, all right? And there are all kinds of idiotic reviews, like the one I saw one time where the guy complained he had to go buy a Phillips head screwdriver to put whatever the thing he bought was together, when the ad clearly stated some assembly required. I mean, who doesn't have a Phillips head screwdriver? I mean, I guess some people have no tools and are totally helpless, and they'll be the ones knocking on my door for help all the time. Okay, that was a long sidebar about reviews. Now, I was talking about making sure your product is used or consumed. My claim to fame on products, if there is a claim to fame, is they are understandable and logical, which comes from my upbringing in small town America, where people had common sense or they didn't survive, all right? Now let's take the concept of logic. I want you to create your how-to products in logical order. In other words, what does the consumer of your training need to know first or have in place first, and then second and third and so forth? Now, there's exceptions to this that I'll cover in a minute, but for the most part, virtually all my products are created in logical order. Now, did you ever buy something that had to be put together, like a bookshelf from IKEA or a bicycle for your kid for Christmas, anything? Well, the instructions always start with a bunch of warnings just to cover their ass, for people too stupid to do things with products that they're not supposed to be done. I saw one time where it was a tag on a baby stroller that said something like, "Do not put child in stroller when it's folded up," or "Do not use when stroller is folded." And it wouldn't be there if some idiot hadn't tried it. And here's some other funny, and some are funny, and put there on purpose to be funny, and some are supposed to be serious. I'll give you a link also to a place where you can see, I think it's 65 of these funny instructions. Here's one: caution, do not swallow. And this was on a paper-covered coat hanger. And here's one that says inhaler. This was actually on the instructions to use this medicine. Inhale 2 puffs by mouth every 4 hours, rectally. There's another one that was actually on the instructions for a medicine called Prometrium. I don't know what that's supposed to do, but it says insert 1 capsule per vagina nightly for 7 weeks. I'm not sure the type of person who would have multiple vaginas, but they got that covered. Here's one of my favorites is for a hairdryer. Do not use on people that are sleeping. Anyway, the link to this whole article is, is there. So, so anyway, if there's any warnings on your product, put them at the beginning. And next are the tools needed. Now, you see this all the time. They usually have a picture of each tool, like hammer, pliers, straight screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, whatever. Then you just have to stop and think, well, what do people need to know first about my topic? What's the next thing they need to know, in other words? So, for instance, in your website training, you have to have a domain name that suits you. So in your product, you would discuss the options for picking domain names and how much they should cost and where to buy them without overspending and stuff. And now before I go to the next couple, I want to tell you about the exception to when you put the tools at the beginning. Like say on how to pick a shopping cart ebook that I have, I don't reveal the shopping cart I recommend until I give the reader plenty of value about shopping carts and how to evaluate any shopping cart. Then I make my recommendation at the end. So you decide if that makes sense for you for your product. But most of the time you put the tools in the beginning. All right, let's get back to logical order. So after the domain name, you have to have hosting before you can have a website. And then you can expand on how to pick hosting. Then you have to decide what information you want on your website and what navigation buttons you need. Then you as the product person, expand on navigation buttons and how to collect the information to go to your site and all that. And next you have to decide what your site should look like. So then you discuss themes and where to find them and how to pick one. And next, you have to make sure you have good elements of search engine optimization in your site so you can be found. And then you talk about keywords and search engine optimization and all that. Then you have to drive traffic and so on. You see what I mean? It's all in logical order. I mean, you can't even purchase hosting unless you have a domain name. So it would be ridiculous to cover hosting first before domain names, eh? So all you have to do is create logical and consumable products, and all you have to do this is to break down your topic logically to what the person needs to know first, second, third, and so forth. Then within each of those sections, you logically explain, again, in logical order, what they need to know about that section. People just love this. I mean, I have no complaints about my training. And sometimes this is hard for people that have been experts in their field for a long time because they're too close to things and they assume that the buyer of their how-to product knows more than they do. That's why another tip, you should give your product to people that are interested in your topic but really don't know much about it. Do this with several different people and have them write down the questions that came up in their minds as they went through the course. Then you go back and answer those questions in the course. And please, please, please don't bury people in unnecessary jargon without clearly and simply explaining the terms you use, and keep it simple. And one rule I have is I never overestimate the intelligence or interest level of my buyer, all right? Keep it simple, unless it's an advanced course for people who have demonstrated expertise at the beginner and intermediate level of your topic. See, people tend to overestimate what they know about things, so you got to be careful with that too. But bottom line is put together your how-to courses in simple, logical order, and you will sell a ton, you'll have very little returns, and you'll get lots of repeat business from those happy customers. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Check out screwthecommute.com/method and check out a perfect example of this by one of my colleagues. I don't always give you me demonstrating stuff. I want to show you other examples of people doing it. So screwthecommute.com/method. And then if you have not seen her whole masterclass, which again is free, go to screwthecommute.com/super masterclass. All right, go out there and create those great how-to products, make a lot of money, and you can thank me later. All right, we'll catch you on the next episode.